The Blood Path.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Plant Path Podcast, your choice hub for book reviews and crucial conversations. Okay, it's nice to be with you today. Really, really nice. We miss you. How have you been? How's life? How's the year been, Jerry? We're in July already. Thank God, really. Okay, earlier in the year, that was January 21st, we released a book review called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And we released the Law 1. I mean, we spoke about Law 1 and really dissected it that time. And it's been almost 6 months afterwards, and law one is talking about love intentionality. And 6 months down the line, the team was like, oh, let's talk about another law now. If we've had you practice law one in these 6 months, I mean being intentional about your growth and all of that, you should really listen to that book review if you haven't really. If we've had you do that, let's talk about law two. It's high time we spoke about law two and all of that. Even if you've listened before, I think it's good to do a refresher of it. Personally, I found this book very, very useful in my life. Very, very useful. Um, let's also say that it's almost a year anniversary of Plant Path Podcast, and I'm excited. Plant Path Podcast actually started July 10th, 2021. That was when we released our first episode. So we take that as our anniversary. Um, and it's amazing to be here like almost a year after. Thank God, and all of that. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Okay, back to the book we are reviewing today. Law two, we said law one is the law of intentionality. Law two that we are discussing today is the law of awareness, and it has a little subtitle that says you must know yourself to grow yourself, and that sounds really, 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 really true. um James Russell Lowell says, no one can produce great things who is not thoroughly sincere in dealing with himself. No one can produce great things who is not thoroughly sincere in dealing with themselves. Okay, this matter of knowing oneself is a very deep thing. I think it is more, even much more than trying to grow or your ambition and everything. Because as an individual, I feel that it is very essential to spend time alone, spend time trying to know yourself, spend time trying to grow, spend time apart. Not even only, it's not a one-off effort. I mean, periodically, reflect on your journey, where you've been and where you currently are, before you can even begin to chart a course towards your growth and your goals and everything. Let me add that as human beings, I think that very often we are plagued with destination ambition. You know what destination ambition? That desire, that propensity, that tendency to always think about the next thing, next goal, next this, next that, without even currently enjoying the full picture range of what is currently there, what we currently have, what is currently obtainable. We need to be sure that that's not what our life is all about. We need to think about how things, um what we currently have, really examine what we currently have. And because as human beings, we may always just think about the next thing without enjoying what you currently have. Okay, so in the spirit of knowing ourselves, and like in order to grow in the spirit of this law of awareness, Johnson Maxwell actually talks about the three types of people there are when it comes to knowing ourselves. You understand? In this light, it's like having a sense of direction in life. Okay, so number one kind of person is people who don't know what they would like to do. I mean, team confusionists, people that are confused, they don't know what they would like to do. They lack a sense of a sense of purpose, which is usually not there, or it's not strong enough. There is no sense of direction. They don't even know what they want. And in that case, I mean, they say that anywhere where belle face na road. Like if you know no road, anywhere where belle face na road. I mean, if you're not shooting at anything, anything just becomes your aim, your focus. So if somebody is like that, even if there's any iota of growth, that growth will be so haphazard, it will be so unplanned. It's like people are dabbling and drifting, you understand? So this is like a group of people, and I feel that in different aspects of our lives, this is a time to actually start reflecting. It's a good time to start reflecting and start asking ourselves that, oh my God, okay, so that now that I am at this point in my life. Don't let's look at it holistically and say, no, I'm not like that. I know what I want. Let's start looking at it like, oh, different aspects of life. Do I know what I want in my career, in my relationships, in my attitudes, in this, in that? Then there's different areas of our lives and know how we are with our sense of purpose, because it's possible to maybe be thriving in one area and then we've neglected the other area. We are doing well in our finances and we've neglected our relationships, or we are doing well in our attitudes. I'm a nice person, I'm a cool person, and then we now say forget our personal growth. You understand? So the second type of people there is, when it comes to personal growth, are people who know what they would like to do but don't. I mean, that is even another special case set, because it's actually different for you not to know where you're going, or not to know what you want and everything. That's different. But the fact that somebody now knows what the person wants but they don't do it, that, as in, those people will be so frustrated, because like every day you just be seeing that, oh my God, this is where I would have been, this is where I have the capacity to be, but then people don't just do it. But because before you go on and start this side of people, of course, inaction is a problem. They know but they don't just do. Maybe they probably procrastinate on all of that. But then trust me, before you go there on and castigate them, some of these folks are crippled by resources. So it's not like people don't know what they should do, and it's just that money is not there, the capacity is not there, and stuff like that. So honestly, that's not a nice place to be in. There's someone that wants to travel outside of the country and knows all the process, but there's no money to just get that thing done. That can be very frustrating. I pray God provides everything that we need for in our lives. Honestly, I pray that, honestly. Okay, it could also be fear. Not only resources. Some people have the resources, just fear of the unknown, fear of this, fear that what if I try this, what if it's not working, it's not going to work, and stuff like that. It could be fear that could cripple an individual, and if it's fear, honestly, you need to start like digging into the root of that fear and dealing with it. Because I mean, like we said before, if you know what you want and you don't do it, that is a lot of frustration waiting for that kind of person. You need to address the root of that fear. If you can't do it yourself, call friends, call psychologists to help you, call counselors, and you understand, address that fear. Okay, it could also be the lack of willingness to pay this price for success and growth. So whatever it is, yeah, these people always miss their potential. So ask yourself. I need to ask myself. I'm asking myself actually since I've read this and I've been working on this. And let's also ask ourselves that, okay, so in some areas of my life, what are the things that I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not doing them? Very large example, common example. Oh, people want flat tummy, people want to lose weight, they know what they are supposed to do, but then they are not doing that thing. Very, very annoying stuff. And then I say, I will start though, something like that. You grab that kind of stuff, you understand me? Okay, so the third set of people that there is people who know what they would like to do and they do it. Those are like the bougie people. Okay, so these people know. I need to really say at this point that we're not talking about perfect people. We're not talking about any perfect person. We're not saying that you need to have it all figured out and all of that. What we're just saying is that you have to be progressing in that area. um you have to have a sense. People like this have a strong sense of passion and focus. Then they grow in areas that move them towards their purpose, relevant areas. For example, now, as much as it's good for me to run and exercise, that is not my career. Like, I may not run as much as Usain Bolt, but I'll just run as much as I need to keep me fit and healthy. You grab that kind of thing. So that is one thing to think about. I may not be aiming for so much muscles and abs like someone that is doing Olympics or something, but at least I can have what it is that I want, like that complements my own personal goals. You understand? So these people do what they are created to do, what they want to do, and then these people are fulfilled. Reflect again. In what areas of my life have I been like this? You need to give yourself some kudos because you're not entirely bad, I guess. So, and those areas where you see yourself in those other directions, this is time to really think that, oh, for this principle of the law of awareness to work for me, this is something I really need to think about, and really do. Okay. And as you really think about it, John C. Maxwell was saying that as you ponder, you will see that you have to know who you are to grow your potential. Like, you need to be really self-aware in order to grow your potential. But you also have to grow in order to know who you are. Like, you can see those two sides of that coin, and then the two sides of that coin, you really need to know who you are to grow your potential, and you need to grow in order to know who you are. Then what is the solution if you think, oh, excuse me. So if both things are complementary, I am not going to edit this part out. Please, I want you guys to see that content creation is not fun, and it is fun, but then it is not perfect. There are times that things will happen to your stuff, to your gadgets and stuff like that, and we tend to edit a lot of these things out. A lot of times we edit them out, but this one we aren't editing. Okay, so because so that you too can also move towards achieving your goals that you have. And not think and not say to yourself that you're not starting because you don't have it perfect yet. Okay, so that is that. Let's continue. So we're saying that you need to know who you are in order to grow, and you have to grow in order to know who you are. Those are like two things that are pari passu. And so what is the solution to that? Really, the solution to that kind of thing is that you need to, of course, you can't say that because you don't know who you are, you don't want to grow, or you're still trying to find yourself. The solution really is to explore yourself as you grow. There's a quote that I've been telling a lot of people that have seen me physically in the past couple of months. I've been saying that, you know what, you're allowed to change your mind. You are really just allowed to change your mind. You don't have to stay at one place at the same time forever and ever. No. That's not how it is. You are allowed to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. I think that's one thing that as human beings we need to realize. It's okay to change our minds. It's okay to get new opinions, new thoughts, new perspectives towards issues, and all of that. Okay, so how do you now explore this growth? That is another aspect. How to explore your growth. Number one, and when I was reading these things, they really resonate. Number one is that you really need to pay attention to your passions. Pay attention to your passions a lot. What are those things that you can do effortlessly? What are those things that they make you excited? they make you happy. You're like, as you're doing them, you're like, oh my god, this is what I was created to do. I'm loving this. I remember when I was in my NYSC, during my NYSC, when I was making the decision to buy a postgraduate diploma in education form. NYSC is Nigerian Youth Service Corps, 1 year national service in Nigeria. When I was doing my national service and all of that, I sat down and examined myself that this teaching thing, this education, do you want to do it? And of course, the answer is yes. Before I did it, if I eventually went to pay for it. Another thing that you need to know is that do you like what you're doing now? You understand? That's how to find your passion and purpose. Because I know that for some people, it's not so easy to say, this is my passion, this is my purpose. One thing you need to ask yourself that do I like what I'm currently doing? Am I enjoying it? This thing that I'm currently doing, am I forcing my way through it? Or is something that I really, really do like? Do I really, really, really like what I'm doing? Okay, so that's the one thing we need to ask ourselves. That's one thing we need to ask ourselves. Do I really, really like what I'm currently doing? Like I said, I didn't really like accounting enough. I knew that education was what I wanted. That was one of the ways I really discovered that this education passion is mine. And as I said before, as human beings, we're allowed to change our minds. I think one of the things that puts people under pressure when they're trying to find their purpose and passion is that as human beings, we think, oh my god, this thing, once I say I'm a doctor, once I say I'm an educator, I have to stick to that narrative to the whole world. Oh my god, that is so not true. It is obviously not true. Obviously not true. Because as a human being, you're allowed to change it is that you currently do. You're allowed to change what it is that your belief system is. You're allowed to really, really change. There are no rules that say that you have to stick to this narrative that people already know you with. You are allowed to change what it is that's on your mind. You're allowed to explore. Even this education thing, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. There's still room for me to explore at every point in time. Education is wide, and I'm like, oh my god, Tosin, do you enjoy this part? Do you enjoy this aspect? As human beings, we are allowed to keep exploring. If I wake up tomorrow and say you want to try something else, nobody's stopping you, my dears. Please, this life, be very open. Open your minds, my dears. Open your mind, my darlings, and then you're allowed to explore different aspects of you. You are multi-dimensional and all of that. You understand me? Amen. Amen. Okay, let's go on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to discuss other aspects of this. Thank you so much.
The blood pop.
Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome back to this podcast episode. Remember that we are talking about the 12 invaluable laws of growth by John C. Maxwell, where I previously discussed law 1, which is the law of intentionality. Today we are talking about law 2, that is the law of awareness. Okay, so we're talking about how to find your passion, and then number one point that we discussed before the break is that do you like what you're doing now? And we told ourselves about how to explore what we're currently doing now. Do we like it? Do we like what we're currently doing? That's a question we gotta be asking ourselves. And then now we are on the next question now. The next question is, what would you like to do? When you tap into your passion as an individual, you release a lot of energy into what you're doing. You release a lot of excellence. I mean, this is something you already love to do, and even sometimes if without people you've been paid for it, you are going to release excellent work in that aspect, which is a win-win in this our world today. Okay, so um find out, ask yourself, what would you like to do? what would you like to do really? What would you like to do? If nothing was stopping you, what would you like to do? Let me give a very good instance of myself. I know that I just want to talk. And I want to talk constructively. I want to talk professionally. I want to talk, even if it's casual, I want to talk about very serious stuff. Maybe in casual ways, but very, very serious topics. And then because of that, I started training. I currently train. I build systems for learning spaces. I design curriculum. That looks like me. That sounds like me. That sounds like what I want to do. I do research, I experiment, and all of that. And then when I realized I wasn't talking as much as I wanted to on my jobs, I told guys, I said, you know what, let's start this podcast. Let me give me an avenue. Leave me alone. Let me just talk. Release me to talk. Okay, so of course, in collaboration with the team, I was like, oh, let's start this podcast. And then I love to read books as well. And of course, I'm not talking about the books I have read on this podcast. You grab. That's like a perfect example of what would you like to do? What would you like to do? Question. How to answer that kind of thing. And the funny thing is that I'm still exploring. There are still other things. I'm finding expression, as we said earlier. There are still other things I would like to do. There are still other expressions that I would like to still do in the future. So ask yourself, what would you like to grow? You grab, you understand? Don't be intimidated by my story. Really, don't feel, oh my god, Tosin has it all figured out. I don't have everything figured out. That's the truth. We are all just learning, we are all just growing, we are just exploring and figuring this life together. Understand? If you understand, and then in this area, like this, oh, find your purpose, find your passion, I would really advise you that, if there's a quote, I can't remember how they say exactly, but it sounds like, if you want to understand the world, you should read books, and if you want to the world to understand you, you should write. You understand? So a lot of things that I am doing right now, they come as a result of, or I read books, and while I was reading, some of the things in my subconscious thought came to me, and that came out to me, and I was able to understand, oh, this is why I want to do this, this is that. You understand? So read books, they help you figure out, how did we get this word crucial conversations? This is our mantra: book reviews and crucial conversations. I was just reading a book, and I just saw that word crucial conversations inside that book, and I just picked it up, and like, oh yeah, this is what it is. So sometimes as you read books, as you explore, as you talk to people, as you understand nature, as you go out, something just come to jump to you, and they resonate with you, and you say, oh boom, this is what I want to do. You grab. So number three, you need to ask yourself, what can you do? What you like to do? Can you do what would you like to do? Number one, we ask yourself, what are you? Do you like what you currently do? Number two, we are asking ourselves that, what would you like to do, like going forward, as we talk about growth. Number three is, can you do what you like to do? That's what we call capacity building. Once you have settled in your mind that this is what I want to do, you will now have to start asking yourself, what are the skill sets that it requires for you to do this? Okay, there was a time that I was just a classroom teacher, teaching in secondary schools and all of that. Of course, I was still doing other things aside that. Even in that time, I knew that I didn't just want, there's more to me. I wanted to grow beyond this point. I wanted to do more things. So what does it take to be a consultant? What does it take to be an instructional designer? What does it take to be a learning and development consultant? I started asking myself those questions, and those were not even 1 year goals or even 6 month goals. These are 10 year goals project, 5 years goal project I have been on, and I'm like, I'm growing in those aspects. I'm like, oh, now I am a learning and development consultant. Or what's the next thing I want to do? You understand? So what did it take? What are the capacity? What were the courses I had to take? So for you, you need to start asking yourself, oh, I'm a junior role now, I'm a junior dev, I want to be a senior dev, or the customer care agent, or I'm an admin, I want to be an HR person in an organization, or for a start HR generalist. What do I need to do to become that thing that I want to be? Okay, so you can go to LinkedIn and start looking at those roles, you understand, and then looking at those roles that you like to go on for, maybe next 6 months, in next 1 year, 3 years, and all of that. And then you can now start saying, oh, these are the skills. Write those things down. I remember in one of my jotters, I wrote, like, these are the things I take to be an instructional designer. back then, and I started working on them. Well, I need to learn how to do this, I need to learn that. And there are some goals I've not even actualized yet, but I am on the like way on the process to achieving those goals. You understand? So those are things we really need to be asking ourselves. And you understand, we really need to be asking ourselves those kind of things. um then if you now look at it and think that, oh my god, I may not be able to actualize this because I haven't got the skill set. For example, it's like me saying I want to be a stand-up comedian, and I don't think I can do that. That's the truth. I'm being factual with myself. I don't think I can do that. Trust me, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I can start adjusting that goal and say, okay, Tosin, so if you are not a stand-up comedian, how can you bring life to your trainings? Or how can you crack one joke here and there and it will not sound right? You grab. So you need to start, if you feel that you cannot do those things you want to do, you need to start adjusting that goal to meet to fit what your realistic, what they call it, your idealistic goals, your big goals. Start adjusting them. That's why you should set like achieve it. Make sure the goals are achievable so that you can grow through them. Don't do something that is so large that you now like discourage yourself and everything. Remember that we always say that when you set our goals have to be smart. They have to be specific. They got to be measurable. They've got to be achievable. They've got to be realistic, and they have to be time bound. Smart goals. Okay, so that's that. Then number 4. You guys, number 4. Should we go on a quick commercial break? I think we should do. Let's go on a quick commercial break so that we will not talk about number 4. We're talking, remember that this subheading is how to find your passion. You understand? You need to know yourself. So that, like, this law of awareness, you got to know yourself. You really need to know yourself. So how do you know yourself? How do you find your passion? How do you find your purpose? So these are the things we have been talking about, and now we are on number 4.
The blonde pop.
Okay, welcome back. So good to have you on the show. This is Plant Path Podcast. Okay, so number 4 on how to find your passion and your purpose, because you gotta know yourself in order to grow. This is law of awareness. Okay, number 4 says, do you know why you want to do what you would like to do? At this point, let me just introduce you to my father, Simon Sinek. I'm trying not to mention my friends that are Simon Sinek fans. Okay, at this point, I would really like you to read the book. Start with the Why by Simon Sinek. It will help you with this, because the why is really, really important. Why do you want to do what you want to do? Let me just read this quote by Carl Jung in the book. It says, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakens. You grab me? Start with the why. Number next. Do you know people who do what you would like to do? That is the place of mentor. You remember in number 3 we spoke about, can you do what you like to do? That is capacity building. Now this number next says, do you know people who do, let's call it number 5. Do you know people who do what you like to do? That's the place of mentorships. Like people in your space and all of that. Like, do you know people that can mentor you, that can propel you? And this, let me give you one tip here. Anytime I have a goal I'm working towards, I just go online, even, and sanitize my feed. So I start following people. Let's say I want to grow this podcast, for instance. I start following people that are into podcasting, and every time I come on Instagram, for example, I'm always seeing podcast. You understand? So you can do that. People that are not relevant that you are following, that they are maybe shaking boom boom. You understand? Or they are not relevant towards your goal, or they are saying things that don't, you understand, all these gossip sites. Please, it's good to follow them. I mean, you learn what's happening, but then make sure that your feed fits your goal. I come on my LinkedIn, I want to see educators, I want to see founders, I want to see trainers, I want to see curriculum designers, I want to see people that are striving in their field, I want to see teachers I can encourage that can help find their goals, I want to see students, I want to see people I can train. You understand? Sanitize your field. That's a very easy way to do that, because so you're on social media, you're outside social media and all of that, you always are thinking about your goal, which is very easy, a win-win for you. um then go for trainings, join networks. How you can find mentors? Go for training, join mentor. Okay, that's our online space, that's for the online space. Your personal space, go for trainings, online, offline training. As you interact with people, you see people that have gone ahead of you. I know sometimes it's good to say, oh, my mentor is John C. Maxwell, but I've got no access to John C. Maxwell at the moment. I really want to. I would like him to be my personal coach. John C. Maxwell, sir, you can hear your girl. She wanna be your mentee. Okay, so you really need to go for trainings, talk to people, interact with people. You meet people that are higher than you, that can mentor you. You see your colleagues that can inspire you, and you see people like maybe you have gone ahead of, that you can also inspire. Those three levels are very important in your life. And buy the knowledge, don't buy the truth, don't sell it. Knowledge is very expensive, please. Okay, so when you're with mentors, and those people that are your peers, that've gone ahead of you, and people you've gone ahead of, possess a teachable spirit, develop the habit of learning how to ask a great question. People don't have time, so learn how to ask great questions. Immediately you meet them, start asking your questions, start interacting, so that you do with the time that you've got. Start being accountable. Okay, so I'm recording this podcast. This is 1:17 a.m. Nigerian time. This is 1:17 a.m. Nigerian time, and I'm recording this podcast. And immediately I woke up today, I had to send a voice note to a friend of mine to give a feedback as regards and something that happened to me recently. I found myself drifting up, and I needed that person to keep me in check, keep me accountable. So yes, be accountable when it comes to your goals. You gotta be accountable. You are not a perfect person. You really need to learn your limitations. So be accountable. Let people be able to hold you accountable for things that you said you're going to do. Is a good way to grow. Okay, so then let's talk about how to choose great mentors. Or when you see mentors, when you see people around you, what are the things that those people should be able to do for you? Number one is that um those your mentors should be able to help you with your strengths. They should have great strength, and their temperament should align with yours, and they should help you develop yours. Then sound track record of people that have gone ahead of you. They are in the field, they are doing well, and they are growing. You can see their progress. They may not be perfect, but they are progressing, as we said. Passion, watch out for passion, watch out for choices. um Watch out for the advices that they are giving you. Very, very important. They should be able to provide you some level of support, the resources, human, material, or any kind of resources, books, lead you to resources that you may need. Then they should be able to help you with your game plan. But I really need a lot of mentors in my career right now. More mentors actually as I grow. And one of the things that my mentors have done for me in the previous years is to examine my green plan, like, Tosin, this your plan is realistic. Oh, I mean, it's not realistic. Okay, so yeah, those are things that your mentor should be able to help you with. Just give you, and also give you feedback and encouragement. Very, 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 very important. Let's the la You must be willing to pay the price to see yourself grow. As you know yourself, as you understand your passion, your purpose, and as you walk into them, you need to learn how to pay the price. This is one of the price I have to pay on this podcast to record at this time of the day. This is one of the prices I have to pay. There are a lot of things that they just They just have to do these things. You have to be willing to pay the price. Nobody's gonna pay the price for you. And like we said, the category of people from now till next year, even if you know what you're supposed to do and you don't do it, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any sense if you know and you're not doing. Okay, so lastly, start today. There is never going to be a perfect time. Today is the perfect day. Start today. Start to work on your goals. Start today. Today is just the perfect time. Trust me. Just start. Don't wait till when you're fully ready. I know that it's good to plan ahead and everything, but there are times in your life that you just gotta just, you know what, I'm gonna start. I'm glad we started podcast when we did. It wasn't perfect that day. I mean, go listen to those first episodes. They are not as clean as this, they're not as organized, or in my own words, so people still feel that, oh, you guys did a great job. But I feel that they weren't that perfect. But I'm glad we still started when we did and we didn't wait till it was perfect. On almost a year now, you can just only get better, you can just get other, and we are grateful to God for what He's done for us. um Remember that we've been talking about the book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. We had previously, this in January, we released the episode, that's about 6 months ago, that we're talking about the first law. That's the law of intentionality. If you haven't listened to it, please go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to it now. Listen, thanks for listening up to this point. Thank you. Please remember to, let's share your comments. Let's hear your comments. Let's share your thoughts on these. So write in the comments. Remember to listen to other episodes as well. Share with your friends. Share within your network. My name is Oluwatosin Mugbadu Ade. This is Plan Path Podcast, your choice of for book reviews and crucial conversation. We must say thank you to Plan Path Consult. Plan Path Consult is your place for everything education, consulting, trainings, instructional design. We bring life to your learning spaces. We bring life to your schools and your education initiatives. Please reach out to us and let's do that project together. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. Have a blessed time. See you soon. Catch ya soon. Catch ya. Bye.